Welcome back, my audience. Move the Chains podcast listeners. How are we doing today on this terrific Tuesday? I hope I'm not as doing well as the Rams are. We'll get to them in a second. Great job, Miami, last night. Hats off to them. Getting a hard-fought cross-country trip in L.A. with all the stars in place. LeBron blames James, whatever. He's not Jordan, for crying out loud. Give me a break. You had Aaron Donald, the beast, as I always say, on my t-shirt, ballin'. He was there with his family last night. Shout out to the fam. One of my favorite defensive players and players of all time was there last night in attendance. Danny Marino, baby. Was watching Tua Tagovailoa slinging that rock all over the field with his favorite receiver, Mark Clayton, back in the day. Mark Duper, one of the Mark brothers. I can't remember which. That was before my time. But great hard-fought win last night by Miami. They got their winning streak back after losing 4 in a row. They needed that dub last night. Devastating loss for the Rams, though. I'll get to them in a second. But I wanted to start off with the Rams last night. That was devastating, man. I always say tough loss, regroup, but that was a coaching mismatch last night. And got to give credit where credit's due to Miami. I'll get to them in a second of how impressed I was. But that Ram game was there, man, because they're healthy. They got their O-line back. Now, Havenstein was out, obviously. Their right tackle from Wisconsin, UW, baby. Repping Wisconsin. He was out last night. But they had, there just was a disconnect last night with the run game not working, and the O-line was kind of mishandled, and Stafford didn't get comfortable last night till late. I mean, there were some times in that game where I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, this is Stafford. This is what he's showing me. This is the Stafford I know and love. He's got a little Favre in him. I've said he's like the modern-day Favre. There's a lot of gunslinging. There's a lot of just craziness with him. A lot of head-scratching throws, but a lot of throws you go, whoa, there's only a few guys on the planet that can make that throw. And then last night, there was moments in that game I go, okay, Rams got this. All right, let's go. And, I was watching the whole game. I was watching it. Then I was grilling last night, one of my passions. And then I was kind of just, keeping an eye on it. And I just came across with the Rams did not protect Stafford all last night. He's one of the last true pocket quarterbacks in the league with very little mobility. So you have to put a really expensive offensive line around him, which costs a lot in the salary cap league. But you know what? They're going to be okay. I mean, the Rams, listen, you got to kind of start winning from here on out. Now, a lot of season left. We're 9 games in. I get it. And they added an additional game in the NFL because of money. I get it. But I think the Rams going forward, they got some question marks, man. They got to figure something out because, this O-line's it's got a lot of moving parts. Last night getting manhandled at the top, at the running game. They rarely had a lot of explosive runs last night you watched. The past game, they had Puka back. They had Cooper Kupp still there. Now, he's not the Cooper Kupp of 2021 when they won the Super Bowl, obviously. But he's still a serviceable player, winning pedigree, obviously, and a defense that's really young. You saw that pass rush last night, get after Miami. And Miami, I've been screaming for years. They're like a Madden team. They have no offensive line. They mask it, obviously, because Tua gets rid of that ball. It's zone, and just whip it and go in terms of the RPO game with Miami. So, I thought the Rams would win last night. I was nervous a little bit early when Miami just went right down the field. It felt like that Miami-Florida game Saturday against Georgia Tech where I'm like, holy shit, okay. Georgia Tech came out, guns a-blazing, they hit him right in the mouth, and I'm like, this is a funny story, cute, okay, thank you. Let me take it from here, Matt Stafford. Hold my jockstrap. Let me go from here. I'll show you how elite I am. And then it just kind of turned, and I got to give Miami credit last night because that defense was flying last night. And all that. But the Rams, listen, you got an uphill climb now. That was a devastating loss last night. One of the worst that I've seen Sean McVay coach last night. He's a really, really good coach. Reminded me, and I was thinking about this on my walk tonight. It's great having you guys in, is I kind of felt like the Super Bowl for Sean McVay against Belichick, where it was, the disciple that was Mike McDaniel from Sean McVay. Just kind of doing misdirection, all that stuff. I mean, I saw a stat last night where, good God, Miami's using 58% of motion. I mean, the jet sweeps are like eye candy. And I heard this too, you got to defend them in terms of vertically and horizontally on every inch of the grass on the field. So they're a really handful. But for the Rams to come out like that last night, really devastating. And moving forward, listen, they could still make a run. They got New England this week. I know New England beat the Bears. Pipe down, Ma. Bears are a joke. But I think the Rams should take care of business up in Foxborough this weekend in New England. That'll be a good game. I'll be watching that closely. Rams and Patriots, especially Drake May against Caleb Williams. Or Drake May against Matt Stafford, excuse me. So I wanted to flip side to Miami last night. God damn, does Tua make a difference. When he's in there, when they're not. They are an awful team. An awful watch. They're a snore. Man, when he's not in there, they are not the same team. But I'll tell you what, when he's in there, and listen, he's got his limitations, no doubt about it. Can't play in the cold. I've been mentioning this before. Got to have home field advantage down in Miami. I don't think it's going to happen. But when you got that guy, when he's upright, and you got this, the gadget stuff and all that with Mike McDaniel, you got something working. And last night was on full display. That was a masterclass last night from Mike McDaniel, who I've been critical of. A little bit overrated. Can't win the big game. And you could say, well, the Rams are kind of a middle-of-the-pack team. Listen, Sean McVay's won a Super Bowl. Like, he ain't no bum. And to go into that place, and that game did not even feel close to me last night. It should have been a blowout last night and a bludgeoning. But I got to give credit where credit's due. The Rams were not prepared last night. The Dolphins went in there and kicked their ass. And, I got to give a salute because that defense yesterday has been much maligned all year. They're 31st in sacks. I'm thinking in my head going, Stafford's going to have 10 days to throw back there. He's just going to have it like Tom Brady 07, where he's just going to have like 10 days, just pat the ball, no pass rush. He's just going to launch yeet down the field, launch bombs and strikes to Coop Kyron Williams out of the backfield, or Puka Nacua. That wasn't the case last night. They got after Stafford's ass all night, made him uncomfortable. They were bad on third down. So a lot of credit to Miami last night. Do I think they can go on a playoff run? I really do. Their schedule gets kind of lighter. They play us this week. I'm kind of over it. I think they should beat the Raiders this week. And they got Cleveland coming up and New England again. So there's some winnable stuff here for Miami. Now, can they get on a run? Possibly. I'm not going to hold it against them if they don't make the playoffs, but they can make it interesting near the end. I said before the year started, and I heard people say this, like if you had, I'm looking back at my notes here, and I did pick the Dolphins third and the Jets second. God, that's a whiff on my part right now. God help us. But I think Miami could get in the playoffs. I mean, they're second in the AFC East right now. They got, 3 wins? I mean, they could obviously win 8 or 9 and barely miss by a game. That shows they don't quit on this coach. Now, again, is Tua going to ever win you a Super Bowl? I don't believe he can. But with this weaponry, with that weapons, listen, you got to keep investing in the offensive line because Tua is a sitting duck back there in that pocket. But I'll say this, and I know their offensive line's been shitty lately, and it's an all-Madden team. They scare me if I'm a defensive coordinator. Because you have to defend, and I heard this from a scout today before I got on. You have to defend, you have to defend them vertically, you got to defend them horizontally. Because they can stretch you out horizontally, but they can also go vertically up the field with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill and Etienne out of the backfield. That Smythe kid who they got drafted, I think, out of Notre Dame, I believe. And then Johnny Smith. I mean, what a find that was for that guy. I'm watching him last night. Lord, he looked like Gronk in his prime or somebody. I mean, he's bounced around, but I thought in Atlanta he would work, and then I thought in New England they were going to go to the 2 tight end set when they had Gronk and they had Hernandez, whatever, with all of his baggage off the field. But I felt like there was something there, and it just materialized in New England. Then he finds a place in Miami, and I'm like, he trucked that dude last night. I went, damn, whoa! It's like from longest yard, you got knocked the F out. So, good win for Miami last night. Shout out to that Anthony Weaver, defensive coordinator for the Dolphins. He absolutely brought the hammer last night. I mean, some of their celebrations were funny. They were doing the RKO, people's elbow, the Rock, Dwayne the Rock Johnson, baby. And they got to give a shout out to my guy, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Hell yeah, brother, with the kick and stunner, baby. So, great win last night for Miami. It's still alive in the playoffs to recap this. And yeah, I mean, that was a really entertaining game last night. I figured it'd be like a 35-31 kind of game, but it really wasn't. Wasn't close. Chop Robinson got in the act last night. The guy from Penn State who's got some bursts and some twitch and all that. So, good win for Miami last night. To recap, Rams, devastating loss last night. I think Sean McVay's worst loss, I believe, since the Super Bowl that he lost against Belichick a few years back before Brady left for Tampa. Rams, I feel like, could make a push. The NFC West kind of wide open right now. Hard to think Arizona's the best team in that division. Would have thought that for the year. But hey, I mean, as long as I always say this, as long as you got an A coach and A quarterback, in which the Rams do in McVay and Stafford, I think they're going to be pretty good. So, I'm glad you guys met with me tonight. As I continue throughout the week, I'll keep posting videos. Stay tuned. Hit the like, subscribe, share button. And talk to you guys soon. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week.